Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sovereign Divinity Podcast with your girl, Abigail Mensah-Bonsu. And I'm so excited to introduce you to our featured guest for this week. Her name is Allison Cotton. Allison is an energy alchemist and soul connector, and she is here on a mission to support women on their earth journey to reconnect back to their soul, heal themselves, activate their psychic abilities and intuitive gifts so that they can step into their soul's purpose. So as you know, we're going to be continuing the conversation on light language and light codes, how it got activated, how you can use that to up level, improve your life, create success in your life, create what you desire to be of greatest service to humanity. So I am so excited. Let's go ahead and begin. Welcome, Allison. Are you someone who has an amazing, miraculous story that changed your life in a positive way? If this is you, I would love to feature you in my upcoming book, Miraculous. If you are a visionary, if you are a change maker, a powerhouse, an empowered healer, and you have a story of a miracle that happened to you that can change others' lives, send me a message because I would love to feature you in my upcoming book. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to another week of the Sovereign Divinity Podcast. And today I have Allison with me to dive into and continue this yummy conversation we've been having about light language and light codes. Allison, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
I can't wait to hear how your story behind light language and light codes and how it started. And let's just dive in. How did that activate for you? When did it begin?
Well, all right. So let's start at the very beginning. Well, no, actually, let's go back about 8 or 9 years ago. I remember I was going through an awakening and all of these things were being thrown at me. And I was like, what's this? What's that? What's this? What's that? I was Googling things and I was trying to get a handle because, spiritual awakenings are not pretty. Trying to get a handle of it all. And I was listening to a lady who was offering a free healing. So I thought, I'll take that. And she started speaking something in it, not in English. And I was like, I know what that is. Like I felt it in my heart. I just knew. I was like, what is that? So I reached out to her, asked her what it was. She explained what it was, and that it was light language. And then suddenly in my next meditation, I had these memories of going back to when I was 7 and playing in the front yard at home and remembering that I was connected to, fairies and unicorns and gargoyles and, and I remember seeing portals and I remember speaking in light language. And at the time, being 7, you've got no idea. And so I was like, oh my God, I've been doing this for so long. And over the years, then sort of you sit there and spend this whole time reflecting then going, oh, well, when else did I speak it? When else did I use it? What other times? So for the next 12 months, I just dived into remembering and trying to use it again. Trying is not really the right word, but just...
Yeah. It's true, because really there's no trying when it comes to it. Yeah.
There is not. But it was more of a remembrance phase for me. And I had this inner desire, this inner knowing that I had to use it every single day. And so I would just be open to, like, as soon as I go into a meditative state, I would just got tingles all over my head saying this. I would go in and I would just open up my heart and just listen and wait for the words to come out of my mouth. And it was really, really profound. That 12 months was so profound for me of just exploring and learning and essentially healing my own self, even when I didn't know what I was healing, because, you know, most of the time we don't understand what we say.
Yes, yes. That's so true. I'm glad that you mentioned yours going back to when you were younger. Like that concept, I remember that came in for me with my son. He's 2 right now. And I would hear him when he started like actually talking and like making sounds. I was like, that sounds like light language, and the fact that when I watched him, like he was very into it. Like he knows exactly what he's talking about. It's us adults that were like, oh, they're just babbling. And so I
Mm-hmm.
remember going on Facebook and posting, like, does anyone think that your children also speak light language when they're doing that? And there was so many people that answered to that, like, yes, yes, absolutely. And it makes so much sense because at that age, from 1 to 7, we're still at our purest, like
Mm,
we're still in tune, we're still tapped into the real magic of who we are, and all the
absolutely.
amazing support energies that are around us is not
Mm,
diluted yet, it's not being shoved down yet. So it makes so much sense that we come in already with our own soul language and we're able to express it. And if you have parents who identify that and they're like, yes, yes, keep doing it. Like if we had that, can you imagine, like,
oh,
it would be, yeah, it would be
if
incredible.
yeah, I was born in the 70s, just to give you a bit of an era perspective. But so that sort of thing wasn't heard of. I was just had an imaginary friend, was just playing with nobody, and yet I had hundreds and hundreds of people around, or beings around me. It was, and it was a really, I think back to how magical that was.
Yeah,
And like I said, that was my earliest memory, and I've probably been doing it way before then. But
yes,
unfortunately,
exactly.
as we get older, the memories of age become,
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. So I want
yeah.
to hear from you, in terms of, once you remembered it, once that, it came back online and you spoke it. Do you speak it? Do you sing it? Do you? Um,
At first, when it came back as a memory, I felt the desire to speak or reply to what the clip that I got as the free healing. I had this desire to reply. I didn't know why or what for, but
yes.
that sort of activated something within me. And then during that 12-month exploratory period, I went into all different parts and pieces of what I could do. So at first in meditation, I would see a lot of gold symbols just flooding in, like it was like, I don't know, it was just like washing. It was just like washing through me. It was the strangest experience, but the most beautiful one at the same time. And it was
Yes.
just, so what I would then do is I would write them down in my diary, in my journal. I would be like, what is that? I'd get curious and just have a book handy and just sort of try and write the symbols to nothing. Clearly I'm no artist
Yeah.
because they're just not anything what they should have been. But to me, in that
Yes.
moment, I think it was more about the embodiment, like anchoring the energy into the now, because I was
Yes.
physically writing them in a book.
Yes.
It
Oh, that's
wasn't really
powerful.
it wasn't really about whether it was right or wrong. It was more about the embodiment element. So that was the first part. And then it was, let's see if I can just create one symbol. And
Mm.
so then I would start drawing just like singular symbols, not just the entire sequence. And so I had to play around with that. But more than anything, it used to just spill out of my mouth. So whilst I can write them, I'm not brilliant at it. I would much rather speak it. And then, of course, the hands get moving once you sort of really start speaking. Often I don't sing, but I have been told my voice changes. So when certain dialects come in or certain elements of whatever is happening, my tone of voice tends to change, I've been told.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. So let's talk about that, because I know not everybody experiences the change in or receive like dialects where they not everybody experiences that, or I should say everybody has their own way of doing
Mm.
that. So for you, tell me more about the dialects. How does it shift? How does it come in? Can you actually feel the changes that are coming through?
I can feel now, the more I do it, Spirit did say to me at the very beginning, the more you do this, the more you will have an understanding, the more you will know what you're doing, and the more you will translate. Because I was like, because you get curious in the beginning. It's like, what am I saying? How come I can't understand it? Getting frustrated and getting back into that old shifting. But
Yes.
they just said, it will be okay. Just verbalize it, and we will get. And over the years, what we're talking another 7 years on, over the
Mm,
years, it comes in waves of, because I feel my intuition. I have this sense of knowing. My hearing is my first and foremost. So I hear the words, I get a sense of what that is, and then I feel the energy shift or change throughout. I remember when I first started asking Spirit, like, what am I, how many, where am I from? What am I talking about? Who am I talking through?
yes.
They were like, oh, there's 7 different beings, and, you're from Arcturus, but mainly, but, and I was like, that makes no sense whatsoever, but okay.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
In that awakening phase, you have no clue whatsoever. So you either accept it and just go with it, or you just go, nah, it doesn't resonate, bye, and you stop doing it. And I think
Exactly.
a lot of people will get stuck in this, it's not resonating with me. Well, then it's not for you.
Mm.
Anyway,
Hmm.
totally different tangent.
No, I love it. No, I love that you mentioned that. It is true. Instead of trying to force something to happen, we got to listen. I feel like, and this is kind of what I've been is been coming up with some of the interviews, like how can you determine someone who's truly channeling the highest of light for the highest and best good for all versus someone who's just kind of going at it with ego and the mind and trying to just mimic, out of, oh, this is the new thing, so I should jump into it too, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
there's a huge difference there. And it's okay if you're listening to someone speak light language and that does not resonate with you, because then that message, that
100%.
frequency is not for you. It's
Correct.
just like with everything, if working with a healer, if that's not vibing with you, stop going to that person, go find someone that vibes with you. Like we need to listen to
Exactly.
these,
That's
so I'm
part
glad
of
you brought it up.
it's part of our intuitive nudges. It's our
Yes.
soul talking to us, going, no, that's not your person, this is your person, or whatever it is. It's not a
Yes.
matter of, oh, they're doing it, so I must follow. No.
Exactly. Or they're popular. So I must, I have to. I've listened to some light language that I'm like, it literally makes me nauseous because it's not the frequency that my body needs at that time,
That's
and so I'll
right.
just shut it down and I'll be like, okay, it's not for me. Right. And the same person, I'll listen to another one and it's like, ah, right. So we got to listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And your soul, your body, every fiber of your being will just know.
Yes. Going back to the listening to your body, even as a channel, what is coming through? Is it in alignment with you, or is it making you nauseous? Are you
Mm,
channeling? Are you receiving from the true source, or are you just tapping into whatever and trying to bring it through, which can be
yeah.
dangerous? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as we listen to a radio station, a particular song that we like versus a particular song we don't like, same frequency. Our bodies are like little radio stations. We will tune in, we'll say yes, we like it, no, we don't. Move on if you don't.
Exactly. Exactly. So, in terms of, oh, there was a good question coming in and then it just kind of dissipated.
It'll
So
come
let's
back.
move into, I know, right? It will come back. It will come back eventually. But let's talk about how you use light language, or I guess I should say how light language is expressed through you. Do you use it, in your practice? Do you use it, like to charge your plants? Do you use it in your healing? How do you use light language in your life?
Use it for everything. Absolutely everything. I understand the power of it. And so an energy responds to intention. And so as long as the intention is there and it is coming from a place of love in your heart, then I believe it can do anything you wish it to do. So, for example, I use it in my own business for healing, for energetic shifts, changes, and whatever else that, spirit calls for me to work with my clients on,
Mm-hmm.
along with, protecting my home, to protecting my car, to protecting my children, to protecting me. Like
Yes.
when we had bushfires here at the on New Year's Eve 2019, we were sent away because the fire was really close.
Yeah.
And so what I did is, just as we were leaving, just as we were packing up everything, I just had this intention to put a protection over the house, and I quickly said something, and I visualized this like shield going over the top of my house from fence to fence, all the way around, and just left. And I came back and the house was fine.
Of
We
course.
we got sent away. We got sent away again 4 days later, but this time we had to leave for 12 days because the fire was coming within 2 days after leaving. The fire was potentially going to hit town where I live.
Wow. Yes.
So again, this time my husband decided to stay home and protect the home in case. So anyway, he stayed. I left with the children. And again, I did the exact same thing. I just visualized a shield, protected it, protected him and the animals that were inside the home, and left. And again, the fire came within about 1 kilometer from home, which isn't far, but still protected.
Exactly.
And I was very, very grateful for that. Like, I had no idea if it would work, if it wouldn't work, but I knew in my heart that the intention was there, so it would do what it needed to do.
I love that. I love that. And I love that you bring in the power of intention too. Like as we're allowing these frequency, this light frequency to come through, setting the intention kind of directs it. Well, as much as it would, right? Because we know that when the frequency that's coming through is like a box of frequencies. So there's so much more to it. And the intention part is just saying, hey, can you also focus on this one too for me? And then it opens up to so much more. But it makes this even more powerful, I believe, when we add that bonus of intentions to it. Yes.
I honestly believe, and I teach this with everybody I come across, that energy responds to intention. So the more pure at heart you are with your intention, the better the response, the better the return.
I agree. So I'm curious to hear this. The first time you heard yourself speak light language, yeah, did it surprise you? How was that like?
I'm pretty sure it was a WTF moment. Like, what the? Because it was more of a like, what is this coming out? I mean, when I first heard this lady speak to me in that clip, I had this sense of coming home, this knowledge of like, oh my God, I know this. But when I actually went to respond to her clip, I was like, had this wanting to say it. Hubby was sitting there, and I was like really busting not to say it, because I knew what was coming, in a sense of my intuition was going, you're going to do this. And I'm like, no, fight it, not coming out. And I end up getting this big lump in my throat. And so
Yes.
when he went to work the next day and I sat down to meditate, I re-listened again. And then I allowed it to come out. And and as soon as it did, it felt very natural. But at the same time, it was more of this, what the fork did I just say?
Yes.
That sounded like Chinese, and I don't even speak Chinese.
Yeah.
I think I'll just put that aside. And I it's like, yeah, righto. I'm not too sure about that one. Just it's like eating something on your plate you're not too sure of. I'll leave that till last. I'll come back.
Yeah. I'll come back to it and see if I still want it. Yeah. No, I'm glad that you mentioned that. So did you like shut it down for a little bit, or was this just kind of like, I'll just deal with it another time?
I was more frightened that I had said something that I shouldn't have because I had no understanding of it.
Ah, okay.
It wasn't really it wasn't fear or this I'm never want to speak it again. It was more of a like, what the hell did I just say? And should I have said that? Because it sounded like Chinese and I really don't remember. But then I had, again, this flickering back to when I was that little girl speaking. And I do remember it sounding like, some foreign language that I had no idea how to speak. Yet it felt inside of me like home, like I was speaking English, and it was all just normal. So
Yeah.
hence I'll come back to it later when my body stops freaking out.
Yes.
At what the
It's
hell's just
really,
happened.
yeah. So it's really cool. Real quick, it reminds me of when my son is speaking like that. My mom always says, "Is he speaking German again?" Or like which, because it sounds like multiple language put together. Like it
It
sounds
does.
like, German in there, Spanish in there, French in there, like Portuguese in there. Like he just mixes it all, and he's like, "Wow, it feels like it's a language. You can feel it, and you
Yeah.
can tune into that." So let's go back to talking about, you said you were going to come back when your body's not freaking out anymore, because I know you're not the only one who feels that way when this gets activated within them. Even people who continue to do it, it's like the mind steps in and it's like, what do you
Yeah.
think you're doing? The fears begin. So how do you work through that? How did you work through that?
Well, I had a pretty good handle by that point that was my ego talking to me, like, just stop freaking out. Like, and you know how you have those little ego talks. It's like, Betty, shut up. That was one. It was like once my body stopped freaking out, my mind stopped racing, like going, what the hell? It was more of a like, you know what? Just everybody be quiet. I'm going to listen to it again. And this time I'm going to listen with my heart. Because in that moment, the first, the second time I listened to it, it was like trying to grasp it in my mind, what it was,
Yeah.
what was being said. And then my body's like, oh, we like this. And then so ego would go, no, you don't. You don't even know what the hell it is. So it was this little mind game of, that ego versus intuition type of yes, no game, So once the freak out stopped, I just went, you know what? I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen with my heart, not my head. And from there on, it was just right. And from then it was like, I want more. How can I do it? I know I can do it. How can I do it? So then I spent weeks in meditation going, show me how I can do mine.
I love that. Show me how I can do mine. Yes. And that's the other part of, I feel like it's part of the journey where, like you hear someone else who's been probably doing it for years, right? And at this point, they're just so fluent in it and it's just beautiful. You're like, how come mine doesn't sound like that? Should mine sound like that? Like that comparing,
Yeah. Or you see someone out in the desert doing these beautiful videos in light language. Yes. You're like, I want that. I don't have a desert anywhere near me, but I want that.
It's true. Absolutely. And we have to, it's like that's theirs. They're honoring their soul language. They're where they are because they continue to. Like
Mm,
these light language evolve. That's one thing
yeah.
I've noticed from the time I started to where I am right now. And this has been a very short time for me and is completely evolved. And so I can imagine like a year from now, 2 years from now, like what is going to be like. And so, yeah, what is your take on that, on the evolution of it?
Oh, it happens very quickly. And I was always told many years ago by a healer that I had a lot inside of me and that when it would come out, it was going to come very quickly. And you know, and I was like, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so then, but in the 8 years, I've gone from being told I have 7 different dialects to now having 22. Like, I can't tell you where they come from or a lot of, because I don't question it. A lot of
Yes.
people try and, well, where is it coming from? What part?
Mm-hmm.
I don't question it. I just trust with my entire being that whatever is being provided to me is right for me and right for my
Yes,
clients and right for my family and whoever else I'm guided
exactly.
to use it for.
And I feel like that would be the mind and the ego trying to understand, right? When
Oh,
they ask that,
100%.
where is that coming from? What is that? That's like stepping in with the mind. But one thing that I am learning, I continue to hear through people like you who've been doing it, is that it pulls you into your heart. You cannot step into that space
Yeah.
and go in here. Like almost, it's almost impossible to pull. And the moment you go here, it just shuts off. It's like, nope, that's nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I get shown because, everyone says, oh, you're channeling light language. And I'm like, channeling doesn't feel like channeling at all. What are you talking about? Because seriously, it does, it feels so natural, so pure.
Yes.
It does not feel like I am channeling energy. It literally feels like my heart chakra is open and the words are just streaming out like a portal of energy. That's how
Yes.
it is shown to me. I don't see it any other way. So this
Yes.
channeling of bringing it in and da, 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 and so it really frustrated me. It's like, I know I'm channeling, but how am I channeling? Because I was never taught
Mm,
to channel. It's not until I did, a course and,
yes.
you do your other things that you go, oh, well, I've been doing that forever because
Exactly.
it's
Yes.
so natural and so in
Yes.
you just do it. So yeah, it was quite strange when I did the course. I was like, well, I've been doing this for years.
Exactly.
What do I
So
need
this
to
is
do this
channeling?
for?
Oh, okay. No, but I love what you said, though. I wonder if there's a difference between, you're not the only one that I've heard say that, the difference between channeling and speaking light language. I feel like there can be a different, like when you're speaking light language, again, like you said, it's like almost coming from deep within you. It's a deeper wisdom. Like, yes, I can see the codes flowing in, but again, it's just me. It's coming through my
It's
channel.
coming through your light. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like, it's not someone beaming something at me. It's like me. It's all me coming through.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
when I'm channeling, it's like this. It depends on what kind of channel. For me, it's like higher self or God self, but for people who channel like archangels or ascended masters, like, there's a direction that you receive the message, it comes through you and you share it out, right? It feels different to me.
It does
Yeah, so I
feel very
wonder.
different. It
Yeah.
does, because I can, in this channeling course, I was blessed to learn how to channel all the other beings, which is fabulous, very helpful. Um, the thing is, it feels, the best way I can explain it, it feels like it comes from your own soul, from your heart,
Mm-hmm.
like where your soul resides in deep inside your heart. That's where that energy comes from. Yes, it is channeling. Yes, it's coming through your higher self via your heart, but it is not like having a being enter your energy and channeling that. Like you said, it's more of a heart-centered frequency. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
very hard to
Exactly.
explain.
Absolutely. I feel like majority of it is experience in it. Like
Oh,
really
100,
experience.
yeah.
Yeah.
99% of people, you must experience light language in order to have a resonance to what is being said to you,
Yes.
but B, it's the reason why it is so you don't have to rationalize, you don't have to know, don't have to relive that trauma, you can just heal from it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think it is a profound way to heal your own self.
I agree. I
Because
agree.
if you, I mean, I hear a lot of people, being taught that you have to relive the trauma in order to heal from it. No, you goddamn don't. You do not need to relive it at all. You might have to enter, a portion of it, but you don't have to relive the sequence. You don't have to relive the memory.
Exactly. I feel like that was like a three when we were in the third dimension where we had to go in there and do the hard work and kind of get into the mud of things, but with the energy that we're in right now, like more and more, and from this point moving forward, we're learning that no, you
Mm.
don't have to do that anymore. It can be very quick, but it is
Yeah,
your choice.
that's right.
It is
And
absolutely.
don't get me wrong, we still will be on the floor and we'll still be screaming and crying and releasing the energy of it.
Yes.
But it
Yes.
doesn't mean that you are in those moments reliving the entire aspect of what happened. You're just releasing the emotional, the physical,
Yes.
and the any other thing that's asked to being released of you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. And it doesn't have to take long either.
Hell no.
It
Hell
doesn't have to be
no.
dragged on for like a year or 2 years. Oh God, nobody has time for that. Ah.
Well, maybe you do. I don't
Yeah.
know. But
Ah.
no, there is
Yeah.
no, yeah. And I think
Yeah.
this is what happened. I mean, I remember I had a lot of stories when I first, became awakened. I was a victim on so many different levels, and I hated the world and the world hated me and this and that and the other. But like I spent that 12-month journey on speaking light language and healing from it. I would just have something come up going, you know what? I have a bit of a money story today. So I then would go into, a state and just talk, say to myself with the intention, I just want to clear whatever money thing I'm feeling right now, just want to clear it. And I would just go in and I would just, blah, 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 everything would come out. I would feel lighter at the end. And then maybe a week or 2 weeks or even 6 weeks later noticed, hey, I'm not thinking about that thing anymore. Boom, it's done.
Yes. Yes. I love that.
So,
So here, um, for people who are, whether it is they just step in freshly into that, the gift of speaking or drawing or, singing light language, and they just like, I don't know, I don't know about this. And then those who are just shy to step forward, what
yeah.
advice would you give them to make this process more fluid, more like accepting. I don't even know if that's the word. Easier. I don't even know if that's the word either. Yeah.
I would, the best way I would suggest is follow your heart first and foremost. If your heart is lit, and it, just like anything we do in life, there is always this fear moment right before you do the thing. There's always this moment of doubt right before you do the thing. But when you actually do the thing, it's like, oh my God, what was I even worried about? So it's more about listening to your heart, following that guidance. Really just, if you're being called to speak it and you don't want anyone else to listen, talk in your car while you're driving, or go out to somewhere in nature where there's no one but the birds and just start. Like literally just start is more, I tell this to everybody, just start. I think I need to put this as my tagline, just start.
Just start. I love it. There is truth there, though. There's big truth there because we put so much, we create this thin around this fear around, whatever it is that we're trying to take a step towards to. And then when we do that, it's like, wait, that wasn't even real. Why did I put myself through that torture even
Yeah.
before I did it? And we do this. Yeah.
It's like when it's the just spirit are just showing me the best way for an analogy is like you're going to for the first time dive off a diving board into the swimming pool, right? You're standing there and you're on the edge of the diving board and you're like, oh, I can't do this. Yes, I can. No, I can't. Yes, I can. And then suddenly you do it and you're like, whoa, that was so much fun. I want to do that again. It's like that. It is that moment. It's like, just do it. Just
Take that step.
yeah.
Take that step. Yes. One
Because
step at a time.
if spirit, if the universe is God, is whoever, your heart is talking to you, there is a reason. And that reason is for your highest and best. It's nothing else.
Yeah.
So why add the fear element into it? And you could save yourself a whole heap of pain. It's just, I think it's a human tendency.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Totally.
Oh, look.
So
Yeah.
with that said, Allison, is there a light language message, something coming through to support our audience?
Always there.
Of course, right?
Like literally you just go, all right, we're going to speak now. I don't know if anyone else has the same feeling that when you have this, I need to speak, the urge is just suddenly there and you just start. There's no, again,
Absolutely.
the just start thing. You just do it. You don't have any, there's no need to get yourself into that state. There's no need. It just happens.
It flows. Yeah. It just flows right out of you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, okay. So they're just saying now, just before I begin, that it's more of they're saying that it's going to be like a tuning in, an element to help you tune in to the frequency of. Now, what that frequency of is what you choose it to be. But yeah, so
Beautiful.
if
We are
everyone,
ready.
yeah, I know you are ready, and so am I. But if you just Spirit's been a bit cheeky this morning. So if you just want to close down your eyes for half a moment, open up your heart chakra and just say yes to receiving the energy. Just taking a deep breath in. Inkaraya dona kisha ira sayana kitata. Aya pashini idara kitara surukuta ita. Aya inna irokutara kitata saka anyara kataya isha aina a. Ukara pata sakati anakatara katu o nira asa. Isha ayana. Ikari urukutora kata sakata anakata I eka. U in America terakati sarakati shas. Isamo ya hayarakata sarakata. Antikadeda edo kotorokotokotokotokota. Akia nekichi saria karasirukutai adadikitotokatakatakataka. Antikade eda hahatikos. 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 Ya nari kura yara karasa. Anjirike say antike enera. O enareta sarakinere idoch sarayatas. Aka a o nyara pishara kitata sarkita nyara katata. O kata sarakatata sarotatata. Anyara kita sro chita sarayana. Untala shala. When you're ready, you can open your eyes.
That was beautiful. That was so soothing. And there was a sense of like remembrance through it, like almost like a remembrance. I just felt like I was remembering something.
Yeah, they when I was transmitting the energy, it was more of a coiling, a spiraling of energy up through your body so you could connect. And then the second part was just opening to what is, just tuning into that sort of like, you know, that beacon of light going, where is it coming? Right, it's from there. Good, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that. Beautiful. Oh, Allison, how do people find you? People who love your energy and want to just dive in deeper in your magic and work with you, how do they find you?
I mostly hang out on Facebook. So you so you can find me on Facebook at Allison Cotton Soul Connector. That is my Facebook page. I also have a Facebook group called Soul Connection, which you can then join me every week. And I just do tips, tricks, healings, energy readings, whatever comes through. And yeah, you can just really start to expand your knowledge and information there. Or you can email me at hello@allisoncottonsoulconnector.com.au.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I'll have all these links in the show notes. So don't worry about memorizing it or try to write it down really fast. It
Quick.
will all be, yes, it will all be in the show notes for you so you can just click on it and connect easily. Allison, thank you so much for joining me today in this beautiful chat and sharing your light with us and sharing your codes with us.
Thank you so much. It has been an absolute pleasure and more fun than I imagined.
Yay!
Yay! I love starting the day with so much fun. It's great.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's right. You're just starting the day with it. Oh, what a great way. I love it.
I know. Yep. That's what
And
you
to
do.
our audience, thank you. Thank you for joining us for another week of diving into this sacred tool, this sacred gift that humanity has a bigger access to at this time to help us really step it up in a big way. You know, thank you for showing up and receiving all these blessings, all these activations that are coming through just to be of bigger service, you know. And so thank you for receiving all of this. And once again, from our hearts to yours, see you next week. Bye, everyone.